The agricultural organization TLU SA is calling on government to intervene in South Africa's electricity crisis. They're concerned over food security. Now, TLU says farmers are battling to keep up, while meat and dairy products have also been hit hard. They say power outages could affect export agreements. For more on this, we are joined by Bennie van Zyl, the TLU South Africa General Manager. Bennie, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Now, no one, whether households or businesses, are seemingly left unscathed by these rolling blackouts. Explain to us the battles that farmers have to contend with to actually keep up.
Yeah, you are quite right. This is not only an agricultural issue, this is a South Africa problem. But for the farmers in special, they have a specific need for continuous and good quality electricity, because if you break the cycle of irrigation for produce is immediately less than it should be. And that is the same for your cold chain. If that chain is broken, then you lose milk and meat, stuff like that. And the shelf life of your vegetables and fruit is getting shorter and shorter, and you actually have to, you lose a lot of that as well. So for the farmer to stay profitable and keep his agricultural produce sustained is a huge challenge at this stage. And it's not only power sharing, it's also now this load reduction that Eskom apply, that you don't have continuous power. And now we do understand that they apply at National for a 32% rise in electricity tariffs. And at the 12th of January, we will have the feedback regarding that. And this is one issue, but we have to look into the bigger picture. It's not only the electricity that's a problem. It all goes about fertilizer that rise up to 150% last year, and diesel since 2016 rise about 170%. We have also, if you have to export, and some farmers do have to do that to be profitable. In 2017, a container cost them at that stage to export produce, doesn't matter what it is, about 17,000 rand. Now it's 170,000 rand. And then the minimum wages will come in next year, added to all this. So the package at this stage became very difficult for a farmer to stay profitable and to keep his produce intact, to make sure that we have food on the table. And our concern, and that's the reason why we ask government should come to the table, and we have to sit down and see what can we do, because the strategic value of food on the table is something we learned during the COVID time, that food on the table is the best stabilizing factor that you can actually have in a country. And if we're going to lose that, and farmers are going to get out of the production side, then we have huge problems, and we have to act. And beforehand, it's no need to wait until the problem is there, because of the seasonal process of an agricultural farm. You have to make sure that you keep the farmer in production, and it gives you an outcome in due time. And therefore, it's time that we have to act now. We cannot wait too long to see what we haven't got farmers anymore. And we have 68% of our population is urbanized. Therefore, we need farmers that produce food for the market.
Now, your organization has also said that farmers are battling to keep up, while meat and dairy producers have also been hard hit. Let's also speak to the aspect of what could be done, especially in efforts to help this not jeopardize export agreements as well.
Yeah, it's a total package. You are quite right, and it is not simplistic. And our suggestion is that government should come to the table and make use of all the expertise our commodity organizations, such as the Milk Producers Organization and the Red Meat Organization, as well as TLU South Africa and Agri SA, SAI, all these organizations. We should go and sit down around the table with government, because they don't have the expertise, let's be honest about it. But these people that is in practice with these things, they know exactly what is the problems, and then we can put it on the table and see on what way or another they can actually get perhaps a bigger diesel rebate, can perhaps get some subsidies, if possible. I don't know if there's any money in the fiscus left, that is the problem. But we have to seek a solution. We cannot just wait until the problem is on the table, because on the table then is no food, and that's not what we need in this country.
Now, the threats of higher electricity costs also add to these concerns, following Eskom's multi-year price determination application for this 32% increase in tariffs. Talk us through this aspect, please.
Yeah, for us, it's not the first big rise in electricity. It's a huge rise at this stage. But if we have continuous and good quality of electricity, then you can actually plan according to that. But at this stage, people and farmers especially have to get alternatives, and that is generators with diesel, and that is also now too expensive to run. So now they have to make a decision to cut on their production processes. They have to change from commodities, and then immediately you have some job losses as well. So the unemployment rate in our country that's rise every year will have a backlog again, and we don't need that. A hungry person go and get food. It's then part of the criminality situation in South Africa.
Yeah.
So all these things link into each other, and that's a big problem.
Now, your union has also warned that farmers might need a government subsidy if input costs continue to rise. Please also elaborate on this aspect.
Yeah, we are not very positive about subsidies, but we are very positive to stabilize the agricultural sector to make sure that we keep our farmers in production. And I think it's time that a responsible government should realize that the biggest asset they do have in the country is to make sure that they keep their farmers in production. And I'm not so sure what way or another we can do that, but if we sit around the table and we discuss the possibility of subsidies and a bigger diesel rebate, that is the things that we can actually look into. Some tax reductions perhaps make it more positive for the farmer to stay in production. And I think we should bring all these links together and see what can be done to make sure that we have food on our table. That is the main goal for us, to make sure that we have the stability in the food production sector.
Now, it would seem that there's now a very urgent need to sit around the table to find solutions. You've also responded saying that stakeholders have said, amongst other things, you need to discuss a tax relief for farmers. What else do you propose?
Well, I think that if we get all these role players together around the table, then we can actually see what is possible, because it doesn't create something, a pie in the sky, and it's not possible to apply to that. So we have to make sure what can be done in South Africa with all our problems. And some way or another, we have to be honest to each other, and we should stop teasing each other about the reality. I think myself, the biggest problem at this stage we do have is the policy environment that do not create enough trust so that people want to invest in our economy. Government cannot grow the economy. It's private sector that should do that. And therefore we need a policy environment that people say, but that's the place where I want to go and do business, and they have to come and invest in our economy. And then we can grow the economy, create job opportunities, and make the, as they say, the cake a little bit bigger, so that we can address our unemployment and the poverty in our country, because that is a huge, huge problem. And if there's with that not food on the table, that is a big, big problem. So I think a responsible government will actually say to himself, I have to go and rethink about my policy approach, because it doesn't work.
Bennie van Zyl, he's the general manager at TLU SA. They are a farmers' union, saying that farmers as well have been hard hit by the effects of load shedding.